Welcome back to Veronica Live, and we are here with our next guest, Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld. She's the author of a brilliant book, The Soros Agenda, and she's the founder and president of the New York-based American Center for Democracy and the Economic Warfare Institute. Welcome, Rachel, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the book is absolutely incredible. I loved every moment of it. I didn't realize how bad of a person George Soros was. You know, my father-in-law fled the communist from Hungary, and what I told my husband this morning, I was so sad that he passed 2 years ago, and I'm so sad he wasn't here to read your book, because I'd actually had conversations with him over the years, because I couldn't understand how two men could leave Hungary and be so different when it came to their thinking. So tell me, how did you decide to write a book about George Soros?
I decided to write a book about Soros after looking into his activities, and this was beginning in 1993 when he actually came to the United States and established his Open Society Institute, as it was called at the time, here in New York. And as the first project, he said that he is doing it in order to, he wants to change the United States of America. He wants to have an open society, which is a different conception of how society should be organized. It's more sophisticated than democracy and communism, he said. Okay. So the first project he chose was really to try and challenge to change America. So try and challenge the criminal law system, right? The criminal law. And what can be better than challenging the American people about their criminal laws is to propose to start a campaign to legalize drugs, to legalize all drugs at the beginning. And he invested $15 million immediately in propaganda and in establishing his own foundation and giving money to other foundations in order to work on this project to promote drug legalization. When I read about it, I said, well, it's a little bit strange. It's curious why somebody who claims that he wants an open society is advocating and working to bring more addiction, to create more possibilities for addiction, drug addiction, to people, because this is to me, as I understand it, addiction to drug is total slavery. It's your body and your soul and your brain. Everything is completely enslaved to the drug. So I was thinking about it, and I wrote about it actually in Wall Street Journal and other papers. And so I asked this question, why? And then I said, I understood that this is a longer-term issue for him. That this is not only about legalizing drugs, it's about changing, as he said, the system in the United States. So changing the United States. So I said at the time, this was not, by now it was 1995, early 96, and I said, if unchallenged, Soros will be able to change the political landscape of the United States. And, well, I didn't have a crystal ball, but he did.
So true. And tell me about, I guess the first time you met him, you mentioned in the book, was at this cocktail party. So what was like, because, you mentioned through the book that he, kind of feels like he's God, so obviously his ego's huge.
Well, yeah. Many wealthy people and others have a huge ego. Soros certainly has one. He is megalomaniac, and by now he has a right to have a very big ego because he managed to influence so many things and change the United States too. But he said that in his youth he was thinking he was thinking of himself as God.
Right.
And since he made money and he was able actually to do what he wants to do, he began to live it out, as he said. Well, I mean, it shows that he's right to feel the way he feels. I was actually at some gathering at his home, and when I was introduced to him as an expert on narco-terrorism at the time, and so he started telling me something which was not accurate, and I pointed it out to him. He got very angry, started yelling at me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at his home, and people are kind of gathering around us, and it was like from a Woody Allen movie. I mean,
Wow.
I'm just curious, Rachel. What drives him? I mean, I go back to his early history. Where he's a Jewish descent. I guess is a good way to describe it. I guess he's not a practicing Jew, if I understand it.
No, not only that. He actually denounced it. He said he claims that he's agnostic. He was born into the Jewish religion, but that's it.
But he cooperated with the Nazis in World War II. So I mean, it's almost like he has no views. It's just a survival instinct, and he just And I look at all of his transactional actions, from shorting, currency shorting, on the pound, where he made billions of dollars.
Yeah,
I mean, what is it that drives this guy? I mean, is he a sociopath? I mean, do you have any idea what the psychology of his
I haven't. I didn't sit down with him. I didn't interview him. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist either. So yeah, I'm a criminologist. But he by the way, he did not. I mean, saying he cooperated with the Nazis. He was 14 years old, and his father, in order to save him because they were Jews, etc., his father found a Hungarian Nazi official who took him along with him, and they went to, and he was identifying Jewish property. Once Jewish property was identified, the people who the property was belonged to were, of course, arrested, deported, were sent to Auschwitz to be exterminated. So he was 14 years old, and so he did what he did to survive. However, he said that this was the happiest time of his life, and he never, ever used any opportunity to apologize, to say he regretted it. He's sorry about that. No. Actually, he said that this helped really create his character. So yeah, I guess opportunism and an opportunistic pragmatism and feelings of grandeur and megalomania are what characterize him.
It's almost like he has he's morally debased and has he's purely transactional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to the cocktail party, Dr. Rachel. So he's yelling at you. Is that when the light bulb went off in your head? I've got to write a book about this. I mean, how did that end? Now and you've written all kinds of books about drugs and how bad they are. So how did that cocktail party end?
Well, he was yelling at me, and there were about, I don't know, 40 people, and everybody's huge, huge, huge living room. So everybody was in one corner where we were standing, and he was yelling at me. And because I don't yell, and but I responded very quietly, and I said, well, no, what he's saying is wrong. So he continued to yell at me, turned around, and left the room. Left the room. So all the people who were surrounding us moved to the other end of the room and left me there alone.
Well, and you say in the book that you weren't frightened of him, and now you've written a book about him. So why are you not?
I was not
frightened
at all.
Because he's so powerful.
I continue to follow. No, actually, and then I had some threats. So I was very curious to see how he was doing what he said he set out to do. And following him after a couple of years, I saw the second project that he had was to start providing legal advice to illegal migrants. This is 1995. So I followed him for a couple of years and decided, okay, now I decided 2 years ago, something that is very important, and watching him doing things all over the world, and especially how his plans to change America has been moving forward big time with President Obama, the Democrats, and now with Biden. And I said, well, it's really important that American people will know more about this person who is really influencing their lives and really changing America and helping or making America, I don't know, a borderless, globalized country, if you want. A country where the laws are helping to elect district attorneys and prosecutors and judges that wherever they are elected, not to enforce the law. So one of his modus operandi is not to go to Congress and ask to lobby for changing laws. No. Although they have an office in his organization has offices in Washington, actually for specifically influencing legislation and the decision makers and the government. But what he has done is going to cities and states and step by step, from state to state, from city to city, creating enough propaganda, helping enough organizations in order to bring about changes that he was interested in. It's like legalizing marijuana, which he said is not addictive, and which we know is not only addictive, but it is causing psychosis and is schizophrenia, is affecting the whole body.
Yeah, gateway drug.
Yeah, these two, and causing really a lot of health problems, costing the economy a lot of money. And in addition, he said, well, once it will be legal, then we will not have any more problems with gangs and criminals, because there will not be an incentive to sell the drugs illegally. Well, we have more crime and more gangs that are selling drugs illegally and growing them actually here in the United States as well. So that didn't work. And still, I'm very worried because Congress is now, with the Biden administration, they want to reschedule the marijuana from dangerous drug into just, something like Tylenol. Completely, well, Tylenol can have harmful effects.
So what do you think? Real quick, what is George Soros's vision of an ideal society? I mean, is he something like looking for a Putin and oligarchs to run things, or he
Well,
doesn't
and
like the Chinese
let me
communists. So
piggyback on that too, Rachel, because you have a line in the book that says he's into like weakening the country from within while decreasing our influence around the world. Why does he hate America so much? Also,
Well, it's a good question. I guess uh, he, seems to me, I don't know that, and it seems to me that since he couldn't be elected president, he was not born here, so he cannot do it by law. He decided to do the next best thing is really to use his money and his influence in order to change America from within. And with his many international connections also, and change it from within, and having a government to his liking elected to office whenever he could. And then, so changing, the government have been following his policies, his foreign policy ideas. And so now we have been weakened from within and more divided from within and much, 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 much weaker without. Um, what why he hates America? I don't know. He hates capitalism too. He doesn't like his organizations have been active in more than 120 countries, and he has been influencing many other countries, but not as much as here. And another country that he doesn't like, really, these are the two countries in the world that their laws are based on the Bible, if you want. It's the United States of America, the Constitution, and the Jewish state of Israel. And he's okay with Israel, but not with the Jewish state of Israel, not with the Jewish character of Israel. He doesn't think that the Jews should have a country of their own. So he has been working very hard also together with the Biden administration that carries out many of, and the Democratic Party that are carrying out many of Soros' ideas, which is really a neo-Marxism, globalist, and they are acting very strongly in order to depose the Israeli Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, even in the middle of a war.
right?
So, and he has been funding organizations here and in Israel and in the Palestinian territories, if you want, directly and indirectly, that oppose the existence of Israel. And some of the demonstrations that you see all over the country by, what is it, Gays for Palestine,
Right.
yeah, that's funny.
see all these many thousands and thousands of people, many of them from the left, youth from the left, they don't even know what they are talking about or what they are marching about. They are being paid, these demonstrations are being organized, and he has been funding, not all, but some of the organizations on the left that has been promoting and organizing these anti-Israel, pro-Hamas demonstrations. And he's been doing also anti-Israel, has been funding anti-Israel, pro-Palestine organizations directly and indirectly for decades.
You know, one of the things we were talking to an author a couple of weeks ago about the Obama myth and where Obama came from. You know, he basically started as a nobody in Illinois and suddenly became president. You know, with a lot of people in the background manipulating things. And one of Obama's saying, you know, he's an anti-colonialist, you know, as far as the U.S. goes and other countries. Do you think George Soros was influential in the Obama coming to power and this anti-colonialist idea?
Is the bigger funder of the Democratic Party. He created all these huge PACs in order to political action so that you can really bundle money and raise millions of dollars and just flood the the country with money to elect this and that. Absolutely. His connections with the Obama administration were very close, very influential, and he did that. He started with the Clinton administration. He tried to get John Kerry elected, but John Kerry is so bad that even Soros' money cannot.
One of the questions go ahead.
He has been a major supporter of the Biden administration and the Democratic Party, and many of the high-ranking officials in the Biden administration.
Well, that was my question, Dr. Rachel. I was going to ask you. He has a very tight relationship with Secretary Blinken. So I wanted you to talk about that because you talk about that in the book.
Well, it's not only with Blinken. He has very close ties with other officials in the Biden administration. The Blinken family has been friends with the Soros. With Soros, they even left their library, which is now part of the Soros Foundation. They left the library for the Soros Foundations, and he worked with Biden. Blinken has been really an operative for the Democratic Party and very close to Soros as he was growing up and since then. And of course, he worked with Biden on Capitol Hill when he was a senator, and worked with the Biden whatever foundation he has that is being funded by PAN and Chinese. I mean, the connections are very deep, but he is not the only one. Others are as well.
Well, where do we go from here? Because obviously, I mean, your book is, let me tell you how many facts are in there. Dr. Gay from Harvard called, and she was very jealous because the book is so many footnotes, Dr. Rachel.
Yes.
I mean, the money. The
book has only 100. It's only 100 pages of text, and more than 150 pages of documentation.
Yeah, it was amazing.
References.
The money that he has put out to all of these, it's just so strange because to come from Hungary and to have dealt with Nazis and the communists, it's just unbelievable that this man, hasn't embraced, I don't know, wanting to be an American and living the dream. He's just completely opposite. He says he's a world citizen, but he's a world disaster. So what has the feedback been for you on this book, Dr. Rachel?
Well, I've written the book to lay out the plans, what is the Soros Agenda, and I focus mainly on the United States, although I mention, of course, other countries. But I wanted the people here to understand the involvement, what were the plans, how did we get here, and Soros's role in getting us here. And I think, actually, that when people talk, for example, about the catastrophe at the border, letting in, 10 million of illegal migrants by now, and God only knows how many gotaways we don't know of. That was something that Soros has been supportive of, as I said, from 1995. I laid out several of his major plans early on, and I described how we went about to actually get them into place. And there's something very important and interesting in the way he's working, and now the Democratic Party, of course, as well, is they're using Orwellian language. So if they say that, if they say the sun is shining now, if you look out the window, you will see that actually you have a great moon outside, or it's completely dark. So everything that they say is really the opposite. And he also uses, in addition, the Aldous Huxley's Brave New World ideas of
Right.
doping the American people. And in between, there are all kind of all the issues about, as I said from the beginning, he tried to change criminal laws, and so now everything is being described as justice. So now you create racial division by calling it racial justice. You create all kinds of upheavals by calling it justice, ecological justice, criminal justice, you name it. Everything is racial justice, gender justice. So you promote transgenderism, and it's endless. The list is growing, and so under that cover, really, he and the Biden administration are trying to change the United States, and I'm very concerned that there will be more executive orders coming in order from the Biden administration in order to do as much damage to the American family, society,
Yeah.
economy, and security before he actually finishes this term.
Well, and that was
So
my question too, Dr. Rachel, is John and I are patriots and we're fighting for freedom in America and the Constitution every day. And we feel like this election in 2024, it's one of the most important in our lifetime. So do you feel that way too for America, that if Trump doesn't win, we're in trouble?
I think that unless the Democrat Party and the Democratic Party and Biden are removed from the scene, this country will, we can say, bye-bye America. It is changing very rapidly and not for the better. And really, the Democrat Party, which is a dictatorial, actually, entity by now, and Biden should be really removed from leadership and from majority. It's really up to the American people to do that. If they want freedom and if they want really to preserve the Constitution and all the other things, prosperity and education and the family, and strengthening the military, and closing the borders, they should get this administration out.
So George Soros is 93, and obviously at some point we all leave. What comes after him? Is this institutionalized now, or is it a cult of personality kind of thing that's going to go away when he goes away?
Well, I think his personality, the fact that he's no longer running the show, will be affecting it eventually. By now, his son, last June, his son was appointed was officially declared the heir, and he is now running. He is now the chairman. His son, Alexander, who is 38 or 39, and he's very, as he said, he's much more political than his father, if something like that can be. And he's been contributing a lot to Democrats, and he will contribute much more money in order to try and remove or defeat any Republican who is running for office anywhere in this country. That's what they would.
Wow.
Not only Trump, all other Republicans running for office. That's what they are spending millions of dollars on.
That's just incredible. Well, the book it's outstanding. It's riveting. And it's so funny. I was in a Jewish bakery in New York at Thanksgiving called Zabar's, and I honestly thought I saw George Soros when I was in the bakery. So I felt like I saw him there, and I left and I Googled I was like, oh my gosh, I think he was in the bakery. He's probably too rich to step foot in that bakery,
they don't
Jewish
do that.
store. Yeah. But wow, such a powerful book, The Soros Agenda, and we'll have to have you back, Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld, because it was outstanding.
I'll be glad to come back. Beware and read the book so you will know what you are up to and stop the chaos that he is creating.
Well, we appreciate you being a warrior for America. So thank you, Dr. Rachel. We'll have you back. God bless.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on Veronica Live.